This book is one of the greatest young adult fantasy novels of all time, to be honest. I'm late to the party on my review of An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I hope I pronounced that right. Then again, that's pretty much the norm on this channel. Before I get into my review, please like and subscribe and tell us what you think in the comments. For the scores, An Ember in the Ashes gets the following: plot 87, characters 100. Let me tell you straight up, I'm invested. That is all I'll say. I'm invested in the downfall of certain characters. I'm invested in the mystery of some, and a few characters, I want them to be victorious. And what else would you need from the story? Emotional impact 100. There's a constant danger in this book, which really got me pumped. Pacing 100, writing style 95, themes 100, uniqueness 92. Regarding the uniqueness, this has the blueprint of a standard YA fantasy, but Tahir's ability to add her own spin to it is why this score is so high. Book cover 60, overall score 94.5. Released in 2015, An Ember in the Ashes follows two central characters, Ilyas and Leia, both from opposing walks of life. Their fates become intertwined amidst a backdrop of tyranny, betrayal, and bloodshed. Leia, a scholar girl, lives under the oppressive rule of the Martial Empire, where her family are treated as second-class citizens. After her brother is arrested for treason and her grandparents are killed, Leia's world changes. In order to save her brother, she joins the resistance and agrees to spy on a dangerous military academy, where the Empire's future soldiers are trained. Leia has grown up a free woman, but in the academy she'll be the personal slave of the commander, who has a habit of disfiguring and killing her slaves. At the academy, where we meet Ilyas, we see that he's a reluctant soldier with a complex past and the deadliest set of skills. Unlike his peers, Ilyas dreams of freedom and he despises the cruelty of the Empire, but his position and family name forces him to navigate a violent, unforgiving system that demands absolute loyalty. Ilyas must deal with loyalty to the Empire whilst upholding his famous family name. These are the two characters with POV chapters in this book, but I want to mention Helen, who is the only girl but one of the deadliest soldiers at the academy and is Ilyas' best friend. In fact, I believe she's top 3 or 4 out of the seniors in her class, which is important as an ancient prophecy is seemingly in play, which states that the graduates from this year will be the next emperor. This was created and executed by mysterious figures that are all-knowing, formidable, and can apparently read minds too. There are 4 tough challenges that the top graduates have to endure in order to become the emperor. As Ilyas prepares for a brutal competition to determine the next emperor, his path crosses with Leia's, and both find themselves questioning everything they know, from loyalty to love and even their own destinies. To top it all off, the world is filled with magic, ruthless schemers, and shadowy figures that heighten the sense of danger. At its heart, An Ember in the Ashes is a story about courage. What I liked about this book is that it gets into the swing of things quickly. Even though it's not the strongest start ever, we learn about the main 2 protagonists and their surroundings. Leia is a very scared 17-year-old girl, to be honest, and she learns a lot about her family history because she seems to be quite ignorant of her past, but also of her own character and how she sees herself in this oppressive regime. In the book, Leia constantly has her brother's voice in her ear or in her head, much like Vin does in the Mistborn series. You can watch my review for the Mistborn here. It serves the purpose of keeping her on the straight and narrow and not deviating from her original purpose. I do like this trope, to be honest, of one's conscience being that of someone prominent to them. But moving on, this book is filled with secrets and more secrets. That is the name of the game. I always like how adversity causes tension in relationships. Helen and Ilyas' friendship had potential to be a relationship, and it is wonderfully done, and it is full of secrets and it is full of tension, and you know they're doing that classic dancing around one another and kind of being ignorant of the other. It's crazy because Helen is one of those women who has to be super masculine to survive in the academy. The slave girls in the academy are raped often, and even though Helen is a soldier, she isn't immune to those kind of threats. There are numerous instances where she's taunted and threatened with such things. I have to commend Tahir, and she did really well to get me invested in these two soldiers. Just the small tidbits of information regarding their history in the academy, Helen being the only girl, of course, and the extra stuff she has to deal with, and how Ilyas backs her and whatnot. There's romance in this book, and it is not a love triangle, but it is a love tangle between 4 characters. It is actually done pretty well, and this is saying something coming from a guy who doesn't like love triangles, but the stories and the characters' dependence on one another means that this entanglement is a very delicate one, and it actually has stakes, like really, really high stakes. The biggest strength in this book is the pacing, which is excellent, and what really aids this is the interactions between the characters. Tahir does a very good job of bouncing the characters off one another. There are so many weird and complex relationships and a lot of pent-up feelings and rich history. You know, in the middle of the books where things sometimes slow down before the climax? That doesn't happen in this one. Once this book gets going, it doesn't look back, and I really appreciate that. One thing that's weird with this book, and it is a con, is that the academy, and maybe the outer world to some degree, feels void and empty of characters and of atmosphere. According to the maps in the book, it is quite big, the world and the academy, but in the academy it seems like no one's actually there, even though Tahir does say that there are other students and there are classes. I don't think she does a very good job of setting the scene atmospherically, and by that I mean that everyone in a given situation or setting is so irrelevant besides the main characters. The extras and the scene aren't really well written, and therefore the atmosphere and the world building, it's very lackluster. Actually, they are non-existent. Any atmosphere created is very hollow. For example, even like small things like the staff at the academy, there seems to be none besides the commander, because there are too few interactions with them for me to really get into the story. It is a bit of a hindrance, to be honest. It did jar me a bit, but the crazy thing is that I didn't actually realize any of this until there was about 100 pages left in the book, which is a testament to how good this book is overall and how crazy the pacing is and how good the character work is. But still, I love an academic setting, and so I need to know more about said setting for me to be super invested in it. And to be honest, I can't be sure whether or not this was done on purpose, because again, even the world building isn't the best in this book. It's decent enough, but it needed more, if I'm being honest. But maybe that comes with a slower pace, and would I sacrifice pace for world building? But let me talk about the ending, which was crazy. Tahir really had me with the ending. It was wonderfully executed, and it set the scene for an exciting second book, one that I can't wait to read. I can't wait to finish this series, to be honest. I would definitely recommend this book if you're looking for a fast-paced young adult fantasy. It will not disappoint. Additionally, check out the playlist on the screen that has my other book reviews. I guarantee you'll find something there you like. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.